You never saw any of the actual planes going up, or was it? I'm
No,
just
because you see, where our offices were, like I said, we had like base one.
yeah,
The planes take off from there,
and
so
that's it.
that's Hoodsport. Then they fly. Probably the drive would be about 20 minutes. They fly a distance to get to the Blighty Canyon, which is the canyon you see that they go through. So then they'll stop at forwarding base one or two or whatever. But once they go, they're up in the air. They fly those sequences and then they come back. So I mean, the most we kind of ever saw from the ground were them flying in and out, and maybe occasionally doing, like a little bit of a barrel roll or a, loop de loop or something like that. But we weren't. You can't from again, like I said, the set is in the air. It's so
Yeah,
difficult to
yeah,
describe.
sure.
You're not actually physically present there. I think they had the helicopter that had the shot. I think it was the shot over system on it. Um, you know, that was always there filming, and I think McHugh a lot of the time was in that. So yeah, but they had their own communication stuff in the air, and it's far away from from where we are, so you can't
Right.
really see it.
Fair enough. Any particular story that you can share that things were not going the way they were supposed to go? Not necessarily with the air sequence, just in terms of
Yeah,
being on the ground, that you can, one or two stories that you're willing to share.
I really I know this sounds strange to say, but I don't think there was anything. Um,
That is
working
strange
on
to hear.
no, but what I have to say is that working with the mission crew, they've been doing this for so many years.
Yeah.
It's the same crew on every movie, and it's such a well-oiled machine. That it just runs smoothly. Everyone knows their job. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everything just it goes. And I mean, I think a lot of Tom's philosophy is to practice to perfection on things. And that's just what you see. I think I've, I can't think of one particular thing where anything didn't go according to plan. I think there was one funny story about a local
Sure.
parachute guy who uh, I think so one of the guys told me a story. It was he kind of turned around and said something about like um, the parachutes that we were using. He said that they're rubbish parachutes or something like that. And I mean that's like the only thing. We just like laughed because we were like, what an idiot! He's probably even never seen these parachutes in his life before because they're so high tech. But I think that was pretty much it that I ever heard. You know, um, but yeah, I mean, and I must say, on a personal front, I was always I'd never really been a huge Tom Cruise fan. Like, I mean, he's great. He's, big A-list Hollywood star. He wasn't someone that I'd ever gone, oh, I'd really love to meet this guy. Um, but I have the most amount of respect for him. After working with him, I've never seen someone with so much dedication to his craft and just such an incredible work ethic. He rocks up, he shows up, he's on time, he does everything he's supposed to do. He does it with a smile on his face. He's not difficult, he's quiet, he's respectful of everyone. Everyone who walks into a room, he'll greet you, he'll say hello to you. I mean, some days he'd come and he'd hover his because he flies to work, so he doesn't drive.
Mm,
So
of course.
his helicopter, he flies in his helicopter to work. So some mornings he would come and, where our production office was a little bit away from the base. So as he'd fly over, he'd come and hover his helicopter, like in front of our production office, and we'd all wave, and then he'd wave at us, and, he'd fly off to the base. So, and he'd do fantastic things for his crew, on weekends, we're in the middle of nowhere, what are we supposed to do? And he'd organize events for us. He'd send us on safari. I mean, the one weekend we all got to go on, a 5-star Big Five safari tour. I mean, I saw the Big Five, all of them, and a hyena, because that's what I asked. The guide said to you, what do you really want to see? And I said, I want to see a hyena. And so we saw the whole Big Five, plus I saw a hyena. He organized a braai for us, which is like a barbecue. massive, massive bride, one of the lodges. So just, I mean, I found them to all be really amazing. McHugh's such a lovely guy as well. Um, yeah, it was just a really pleasant experience. There wasn't any one thing that I can say was a disaster or something that went wrong. I think about the only thing that went wrong was that Durban had flooding. And, you know, at the time, it wasn't a great idea for us to go there because I drove down there and I mean, this is the one freeway. There was a container yard next to the freeway, and it looked like God had just picked up containers and thrown them like Lego onto the floor. You know, they were just containers like lying all over the middle of the freeway and broken and stuff. And I just said, no, guys, you know, it's not a good idea to come down here for now because they were still busy, you know, cleaning up, disaster management and all of that kind of thing. So we just didn't do the Durban leg. But yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Let's go back to your as we wrap up. Let's go back to your horse. um,
Horses.
horses. Let's go back to
I now have three of them.
that's even better. Maybe you already have on not so Hollywood productions, but if not, would you like to do something that involves horses and not necessarily?
I have actually ridden. I have ridden as a work rider on movies before.
Which ones?
It was a series. I think it was for BBC or one of those things called Northman. It was a Viking saga,
Okay.
and I got it. They'd been filming it for like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and they only really had male riders on because it was so grueling. They wanted it to be so realistic that the armor was real, the chainmail was real, all of that stuff was real. You were riding in 20 kilograms, 20 to 30 kilograms worth of armor. So they decided that, you know, only boys because it's so rough and so difficult. And a lot of the boys just went, I'm not doing this anymore. So the lady who was in charge of all the horses, she called me and she said, you know, do you want to come? And I said, sure. And I went and did it for one night and said, never again. Yeah, 30 kilograms, 20 to 30 kilograms worth of armor. So it's, you know, you come in your own normal riding clothes. Then they put another set of, you know, kind of cotton stuff over you so that none of your, you know, your modern fabrics can ever be seen. And then on top of that, they put all these boiled leather, you know, braces like on your arms and on your legs and the boots that you would be wearing. And then they put another layer of pants on top of you. And then they put a layer of felt, a tunic on you, then felt, then body, well, then chainmail, full chainmail, real chainmail. Then body armor, again, boiled leather with the metal sheeting and stuff like that, and a helmet. And once that helmet goes
Wow.
on your head, if you turn your head, the helmet doesn't bloody well turn. So you're riding, and you're riding it at 2 a.m. in the morning, in the middle of the night, galloping up a hill with 20 other riders towards a line of pikes. And once you hit the pikes set on fire. And you've got to jump off, pull your sword, and run, you know, as if you're going to charge, and do that over and over and over again. And it was the middle of winter. It was like -2. And yeah, I mean, on my costume as well, they also gave me a full wolf pelt that I had to wear over my stuff as well. So it was a lot. So by the end of the night, I was like, I don't ever want to do that again.